And then I crush it, tell my girl why I'm so bold. Until she trusts it. I'm like the world inside a snow globe. Rap for the memories. Painted murals on the smoke show.
Yeah. So we're still having trouble with tantrums, right? So this guy decides he strikes out once, gets thrown out once, strikes out again, right? And so the competitor in my guy, the competitor in me acknowledges the fact that you're going to be frustrated when you cannot perform as an athlete. That's just, it makes sense. No argument there. What you can't do is then throw your helmet and throw your gloves and throw your bat and thus and so. Because what that is a lack of the ability to control the actions that are attached to your emotions. Having emotions is fine. It's uncontrollable. You can't control it. They show up. They just are present based on your perception of the world and based on the activities and actions that are going on outside of you. That's fine. Makes total sense. But you can control what actions you take based on your perceptions and based on your emotions and based on the feelings, right? And what he has to understand is that it's not acceptable to pout and throw tantrums. Right, the pervasive lesson is always take a deep breath, reset, identify the problem, figure out a solution, make your move. And that's just in every problem in life. So I keep telling him, take a deep breath, take a deep breath, take a deep breath. So this time he decides, well, I quit. I'm not playing baseball. Baseball, a game that he's loved since kindergarten. He's now in the 6th grade. I quit. I'm not going to play anymore. And this particular day, he took himself and sat in the dugout and never came back out to play. Didn't take the field for defense. Didn't bat again. They lost the game. Mind you, not just because of him. A lot of kids were going through the same thing, and the other team had a better day. They just lost. As we were walking to the car, I quit. I'm not playing anymore. Okay. I'm not going to argue with you about things that I know he's having an emotional response to. There's no reason for that. So I thought, okay, my job as the male figure is to apply pressure in order for change, right? Now, a lot of guys will try to justify their own existence and apply pressure for no reason. You're grounded. I need to assert my male dominance in the house. I'm the alpha male. But I feel like every action that I take with him has to be very deliberate. Everything that it is that I do has to have a reason and a planned outcome, especially when it comes to discipline. So we get in the car. My first objective was to make it uncomfortable, an uncomfortable silence. He plugs his phone to the stereo. I turn the stereo off. So he knows this is not going to be a pleasant ride. What is in store for him, he has no clue. I had no clue, right? I figured, okay, we're about 20 minutes from the house. It will be silent and you will have to deal with that, which a lot of times is deafening. That's a lot, depending on your kid's disposition and what happens. Now, he knows for me, I'm a pretty jovial person. So when I'm silent, there's an issue. But what I realized is that I always thought that these disciplines and these programs that fathers and mothers would have us on had some sort of prescription. They were prescribed. The father knew when my kid does this, he gets this. And in some cases, that's true. When my kid gets out of line, he gets smacked. When my kid does the wrong thing, he gets grounded. And I, which is fine, but I think that each one of those disciplines then becomes a knee-jerk reaction. It's easy to employ. It's easy to impress upon the kid, but they don't necessarily get the lesson that you're trying to teach. It doesn't extinguish the behavior except for the kid just doesn't like being grounded. But they don't know why they shouldn't stop doing the thing that got them there in the first place. They just know I should stop doing that so that I'm not in that position anymore. Which it's fine, it extinguishes the behavior, but it doesn't allow the child to process, to think, to then not make similar mistakes later because they understand how to process. I thought these guys just knew the answer. And the entire time I'm driving home, I kept thinking, well, I have to do something, because if I don't, he'll continue to act out. He'll continue to do the things that I don't approve of, that I feel like are counterproductive in life. He'll just keep doing them because there's no repercussion. And God forbid he gets in the world and the repercussion and the discipline is bigger than what he planned for or that he thought, right? Jail, prison, death, all sorts of things can come from, well, I didn't know that this was the price to pay. And so the entire way home, I kept thinking, well, what am I going to do? And I can't, I'm not mad that you don't want to play. I'm not mad that you lost. I'm not, it's not my game. Like, I drive all over this state taking this guy to these baseball tournaments and games. So it's going to save me a lot of money on gas, a lot of time, a lot of money buying gear. If he doesn't play, that's wonderful for me personally, but it's not a good thing for him because it builds friendships. Sports gives you confidence. It lets you understand how to work together as a team. It lets you understand how to surmount problems. So him quitting and him tantruming is not in his best interest for life. And I know for a fact he doesn't want to quit. I know for a fact. So I thought, well, do I give him a lecture? Do I yell at him? Do I cuss him out? What do I do in order for him to understand the lesson? And so what I came up with is, I thought, all right, well, here's my plan. When we get out of the car, we're going to go into the house. He's going to take his bag out. His baseball bag's got his bats, his glove, everything's in that bag. And he's going to set it down in the mudroom when we come in. I'm going to tell him to take that bag upstairs and pull out all of the equipment and give me a price that he wants to sell each piece of equipment for, which does a multitude of things. Number one, he gets ownership in, well, okay, I get to get some money. I get to list off my things. Two, he has to then touch the thing that he's losing, that you said you quit. These are the things that you're quitting on. He then has to understand the value of the investment that everybody puts into him. How much is this bat? How much is this glove? How much are these cleats? These are things, this is a numerical, monetary value of how much people have invested, not to mention the time and the driving and the paying the actual price to play in the league and all these other things. But at the genesis of it, he's going to have to understand tangibly what the investment is. Now, I know that he loves baseball. I know that he's not going to want to do that, right? And he's going to give me an argument. And he's not going to want to take it upstairs. And so then I think, okay, I can yell at him and really impress upon him how serious I am. I can make him do that. Or I can take the thing and put it in my car and tell him, well, I'll do it myself. I'll sell it myself. So that's the thing that I thought of. Okay, well, I'm going to take the bag. I put it in my car. I said, listen, don't worry about it. You don't have to list it out. I'll list it out. All this stuff is gone. So then when he argued, obviously, he wants to play, so he's going to argue that point. No, please don't. I want my stuff. Don't take my stuff. That is going to let him understand the value of what he wants to do. So then we processed through, and I said, listen, you're the one that sat in the dugout. He did that same thing when we were playing football. He got hit. Oh, my God, I'm injured. I can't play for the rest of the game. And the message then was, you're actually going to let your partners and your friends go out there and take those hits by themselves? That's not how it works. If they're in a fight, you're in a fight. That's how partnership works. That's how friendship works. So obviously that lesson has either gone away or, it didn't get all the way in, or these kids you need multiple times. I didn't understand that either when I was a kid. I got to tell you 12 times until it sinks in, and then it just sinks in at some random time in life. Yes, that's exactly how it works. So essentially, he's standing there. I said, you take yourself and put yourself in the dugout. And then you told me on the way home and in the car, I quit and I don't want to play anymore. And so the lesson is, as a man, right? He's a man, I'm a man, he's a pre-man coming up. That's a good term. You have to stand on what it is that you say. And if you say that you quit, then you quit. You're not allowed to just yell out things, random things that you don't mean as a man, because your word means something. It should. Your word is your bond. If you say something, you show up for that. And so that is part of the bigger lesson for him. you have to think before you start acting, and you have to think before you start saying things, because there's a consequence attached to that. A natural consequence: you run out in the street, get hit by a car. That's nobody doing anything to you. It's just a natural consequence. Or a parental consequence: you quit, I'll sell your stuff, right? I don't have to do that, but that's a consequence of your behavior. And so in order to impress upon him that lesson in masculinity, right? Who are you? How are you built? When you say something, do you stand on that? We have to go through this entire process. I said, look, I'll make you a deal, man. Now, I know as the father, I know as the parent, I know as the grown man, you don't mean you're mad and you want to quit. Or you are mad, but you don't mean you want to quit. So I'll make you a deal. You will have the opportunity to earn back your things in order to go back to baseball. Right. And so the ideology is I'm applying pressure to him, pressure that's more than just dealing with what he's faced with. Right. Like if I apply, you're going to have to do work around the house, bigger work. Right. I have a 2-acre, 3-acre lot away. You're going to have to mow that whole acreage if you want to do some things. That's not typically his job. That's a different thing. Now, if you want to earn back, you have to go above and beyond to let me know how serious you are about the mistake that you made. And then later, you're able to think through, okay, I'm not going to say that I quit because then I'm going to have to mow this acreage. I'm not going to say that I quit because then I'm going to have to, what happens with adults, I have to walk that back. You say a bunch of insulting things to your partner that you don't mean, and later you have to apologize for that. But it's out there. And so that may cost you your relationship. And that's the pressure that I have to apply to him, right? The application of it. And so we get back to the house, and we're having this debate inside the garage. Ironically, the older girl, right, the 14-year-old, her boyfriend rides his bike up. Garage is wide open. I go, look, man, you have to go around into the front door. We're having a conversation. But then now he gets to see. I'm not just all fun and games. There's times where people need to get checked. You know, it has to happen, which is another story with the boyfriend. We'll get to that another time. Anyway, once we were done with that conversation, right, I said, listen, lay back. It's Thursday night. Tomorrow we're going to get up nice and early. We're down to the next spot. You're going to do some work. And then we go into the house. I explained to his mother what was going on. So she says, well, hey, are you hungry? Do you want something to eat? No, because he's frustrated. No, I don't want anything. And she asked him about 4 things. Hey, would you like this? Hey, would you like that? Hey, would you like this? And later, she and I had a conversation. I said, your whole goal was to make him feel better. Is that right? And she said, yeah, he was upset. I wanted to make him feel better. Which got me to thinking about that part of the different roles that we have as parents, female, male energy. I said, listen, the funny thing about it is I understand why you want to make him feel better, but that's not part of the decision-making process as a man. It's irrelevant how you feel. What matters is what you must do. There's a duty as a man, as a patriarch, as a person whose word means something, to operate, to come to action, to do what you're supposed to do, and how you feel about it. I'm too tired in the morning to go to work. I'm afraid to defend the house. I'm too hungry to do anything. Those things don't matter because the people that are under your umbrella would like the results. They'd like to feel safe. They like to feel as though you will be there. They like to feel as though you are the wall between the outside and the inside. And how you feel doesn't matter. It matters that day to day, consistently, you're providing and presenting the things that you're supposed to present. All of those things are wrapped up in, well, I quit and I don't want to play anymore. Right? There's a lot of opportunity there for me to process, well, how do I discipline this person? Are my feelings involved in the discipline of this person? Are the things that I'm doing getting the results that I want for this kid? Is he growing? Is he becoming a better human? Is he becoming a better man because of the discipline that I'm employing? And those are the thought processes that I have to have. And then I have to watch him. What kind of kid is he? How is he responding to this? Is he responding to this? Is he growing? Is he doing the things that make sense to me? The next morning we got up and we went down and we mowed the lawn, and the lawnmower broke a bunch of times and I had to fix it. But he did well. He started to pout. I said, well, get out of the car then. But he understood, if I get out, then I don't get to play, right? I have to do this work, so I got to get myself together. And when the lawnmowers broke, I kept telling him, listen, things aren't going to go your way every day. But if I'm down here throwing tantrums and pouting, nothing ever gets done. So he gets the opportunity to see, how do you work through adversity, right? He did a great job. Up and back, up and back, up and back, mowing the lawn, different things that had to happen to deal with that type of pressure, right? We worked, it was more than just a lawnmower. But anyway, the moral of the story is, did he do well? Did he understand the balance between what it is that I want, baseball, and what it is that the alternative is, a difficult day? Do you understand that lesson? Will that extinguish some of that dugout behavior? Will you understand that your friends mean something, and being hurt with them, we're battling, we're playing our game, is better than selling them out? And I think it's important that all of us look at how we discipline our kids, what type of creative discipline we use for each. If you got multiple kids, they're different kids. They need different things, and it's okay to parent your children differently because they're different people. We all want to be treated as we want to be treated, without the standard of, well, this is how I treat people. I want to be treated as an individual. So what would make you think that your kids all want the same discipline? They all want the same nurturing. They all want the same things. They don't. And the truth is, we like them at different points differently. I've really liked him, then I've not liked him at all, then I've kind of liked him, then I've really liked him. And with her, the same process, And so, yeah, you're my favorite for this activity, and you're my favorite for this activity. Love and care about you with the same intensity, but it's applied differently. And it has to be applied differently, especially with boys and girls in this society, because they're different, right? And each child is an individual. Each child is unique. Each child will respond to things differently. And that's all there is to it. And I think I did a great job with that lesson. It remains to be seen. I don't know. There's a story that I like. I guess Jim Harbaugh was playing at Michigan when he was a quarterback there. And he went into the coach's office and asked, what type of team do you think we're going to have this year? And the response was, well, I'll let you know in 30 years when we see how many good parents we have, good men, and good human beings. And I thought that was the key to what I'm doing in life. That's the key to, as a coach and as a parent, we'll see when you turn out as an adult. All these rough lessons that you have to go through, they will be justified, and we'll be able to determine where we're at when we see the results. And as of now, yeah, I think I'm great. But who knows? Who knows what happens as it goes? All I can do is continue, stay the course, make the moves, and make the best of it. Anyway, I'll keep you updated, and think about this. HumbleNorthAmerica.com. We're coming out with T-shirts that you can buy there. There's also books that you can purchase there. And then follow us, Dad and Change, on YouTube and on Instagram. Thanks a lot. Till next time.
So my quest is find a hero in the mirror, then arrest his dreams and his ego. He defenseless. Say the party for the guest list. Ain't nobody wanna test this. It's my illusion when my chest is feeling low.